Hey guys, thank you for joining me on this video journey. I said I was going to do it and here I am. This reading is going to be me trying to channel Mary Trump. I watched a video a couple of months ago or maybe up to a year ago. It was a video by Readings by the Empress and she had channeled Mary. And she said that she sensed that Mary was saddened because she felt like she should have done more as a mother. And she also felt that Mary wanted Trump to be president and she wanted him to conform and mature in his role as president. So now I want to take a look-see into whether or not her energies have changed. So let me just shuffle my decks and get them prepared. I'm going to do something that I haven't done for a while, and I'm actually going to start the reading off with my pendulum, and then we'll go to the tarot deck, and then the Sibylla or the Normand if I need any clarification. And this is the Mermaid deck for those who don't know it. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'm going to ask Spirit for protection and guidance, clarity and awareness so that I may receive the messages that is put forth, so that we can receive and understand where she's coming from as a mother. Okay. Spirit, is Mary Trump here? Okay. Spirit wants me to explain for those of you who don't know how I do my pendulum readings. This is the yes and this is the no. I would do them in the air, but my hand just gets tired and it doesn't show well on video, so I just don't want to do that. And I don't want to show my face. So, okay, Spirit, now that that's out the way, Mary Trump, are you here? Are you here? Okay, and so we get a yes. I'm going to ask one more time. Are you here? And then we get a yes. So the next question I'm going to ask Spirit is whether or not Mary Trump wants to speak. So we get a yes. Okay. So I'm wondering if the energies have changed in regards to Trump and how she feels. Okay, so at the heart of the matter, we get resistance to change. Let me just make sure this is in frame for you guys. So I'm feeling like, just to go off what the Empress said a year ago, she had wanted him to be president and she wanted him to be good at it. She wanted him to bring change forth, but the problem is that he is resistant to change. And so her concerns are that he needs to leave. There needs to be a release from bondage. Also, there can be affliction, some kind of affliction here. At the root of the matter is the Knight of Swords. And now with the Knight of Swords, we have someone who is, who can be impulsive, someone who speaks, someone who's very communicative, someone who is very opinionated, someone who's hasty, someone who moves fast and who just moves fast and needs to think better, needs to think clearer. That's the problem. So her feelings is that there is a problem that needs to be solved. His communication, the way he speaks, is a problem. He can't think clearly. He can't form proper thoughts. And so it comes out like nonsense. Her desires and needs, she would like for him to move off to calmer shores, but she sees this, that where he's at right now, it's not going to happen. In the near future, she sees this is like him leaving, I think. This is a partial success. Like she's waiting for him to leave. She sees it happening. She sees that, you know, this is not working out well. I'm not going to say that she sees that she sees him not completing his term or walking away from the seat. But she's looking about after he's out of office. And the final outcome is, yeah, she's worried about his mental health. That's what we have here. So in the end, this is to couple with her looking and waiting. She's literally waiting, just watching and waiting. And she's like, she sees disaster coming if he stays. No matter what, there's going to be disaster for him. He should have never been president. And she sees that now. It's like waiting for the inevitable to happen. So let's go back in with the pendulum. Well, let's clear up these cards first. Then we're going to go back in with my trusty pendulum. And then we're going to ask directly. Does she view it as a mistake, him being president? Yeah. Yes, she does. Is she worried for his mental health? Yes. Yes, she is. Okay, so let me do another reading as to where does she feel it went wrong for him. Okay, well, let me take a look at the bottom of this deck here. See, this is all talking about imbalance. It's his mental health. Yeah, the devil. Yeah. And the pentacles to represent stability, but he's the Page of Pentacles, so he's a child in his mind. In his mind, he's a child, and it can also be saying that something went wrong as to when he was being, when he grew up, as he was growing up. Something is wrong there. But let's talk about what was being ignored. So it's the Hanged Man in reverse. So, oh, it's letting go of some kind of control or a handle, not having a handle on something. It's a trial. Trying something out. Oh, okay. So, as far as him, he doesn't think things through, guys. Even though he knows he may not be qualified for something, he is so confident. He's a narcissist. So he'll just, I'll wing it. I'm going to wing it, and, that's it. That's how he's lived his life. He's always winged stuff and gotten away with it. If he's made a huge mistake, he's gotten away with it. He was always placated. What others see is that he is controlling. And this plays to the narcissism. He's controlling, he thinks he's all powerful, all that in a bag of chips. And what needs to be acknowledged is that he needs to vacate. He needs to vacate so he can get control of everything that's falling apart around him. I'm also seeing that if we look at the past, present, and future, something went wrong, something needed to change in the past. This is the way he is now, and in the future, he is going to be alone. And I'm seeing that his father had a big influence on how he was molded. Okay, let's look into the obstacles. The obstacles are, the obstacles is the Justice card in reverse. So this tells me that truth and justice were neglected in his upbringing. If I look at this with the Emperor, who at times can represent the father figure, he took control. This was the guy who was like, you know what, in business you have to do X, Y, and Z, and sometimes you have to cut a little corners, and sometimes you have to, get rid of this and get rid of that. But there was no justice that was being taught. She feels like she should have explained how to be fair, but she gave the father too much control. What she wants, she wants to right some wrongs. She wished she could right some wrongs where the father is concerned. She just gave him too much control. And the outcome was they lack compassion. They were supposed to get that from the mother. She was supposed to teach them compassion, fair, how to care for people. But because, well, you know what, it's also she feels like it's a product, they were a product of the times where men were men and women were women. So she mostly dealt with the sisters, with her daughters, and left the boys to the father, which is her biggest regret, because they turned out to be very, very cold people, except for, Fred Jr. But, that turned out badly. In the past, there we go. There we go. That is the lack, this is the lack of movement on her part. Her not doing what she felt like she needed to do, and the lack of passion, or just how her children were created, how they developed their personalities. It was just terrible. It wasn't good. What is at her feet? Incompletion. Again, that's in regards to her. She felt like she was a bad mother. That's what I'm seeing with this card here. And that's why she feels guilty. She should have stepped up. They just didn't get what they needed to get, the nurturing that they needed to get. And that's where the incompletion comes in. In front, what she sees. See, this is the card for working. And it's like to say, on top, underneath the card for mothering, the Queen of Wands, it's incomplete work. It literally reads as incomplete work from the mother. But in the future, what he has worked for will come tumbling down. That's what she sees, and that is what she is worried about. Now, let me just pull up some. I'm going to use my Lenormand cards to see what Spirit has to add to this. because I feel like it's a little bit more than meets the eye. Thinking as a counselor, which is what I do for a living, there's more. You don't just get into a marriage where the husband is the controlling party and you're just a quiet mouse. There's something else. So let's see what Spirit has to say. So this is the card for harmony and joy. This is the card for stability or lack thereof, grounding, groundwork, security. This is a burden. Oh. See, now I'm getting that this was an abusive relationship between her and her husband. Definitely abuse there. She had no power. No power. And she feared him. See, and this is the whip. This is what we have here. He beat her. You know, there's no two ways about it. He beat her. It's not as simple as, you know, she just didn't step up. She was afraid to. That's why Trump treats women as he does. He has all the power because this is something that was modeled to him by his father. Let me just go in with the pendulum here. And I'm just going to be frank and ask, was there any other type of abuse in the home? I thought so. I thought so. Is this where Trump gets that mentality where you just grab them by the PUSSY? So I'm getting a yes. And let's take a look. See, I'm not even going to ask a question on this. I'm going to leave it open to whatever Spirit wants to say in regards to that. Let's see. One more time. Disaster. That's where the evil changes came in. So Trump saw something. They all saw something, which explains Fred. Explains why they don't have much to do with their sisters. Explains the whole family demographic. Not being able to overcome burdens. See, and not being able to move away from it. Needing to move on from it, but not being able to. You see, in school, we were taught, because like I keep telling you guys, I work in social services. The end game is for me to become a psychiatrist. But right now, I am a counselor. What they always say is that people, when they seek counseling or therapy, they oftentimes treat the symptoms and not the cause of the symptoms. And that's probably where, well, no, with Fred Trump, it's more than that. It's the fact that he was destitute. He had a child that was dying. His family wouldn't help him. But with Trump, that's what it is. He lied. That's where the lying comes from. When you have to hide these family skeletons, you learn to lie. So these people are treating the symptoms in whichever way they can, or they can cope with whatever happened. So some people choose to repress, some people just choose to lie, some people just choose to, what do they call that? When they just take it out on others. They're suffering, so they push it off onto others, and that's Trump. Now it's manifesting in the form of dementia. And in my profession, I've seen that happen a lot, where people just need to forget so much that the brain is actually acts like a switch and it turns itself off. So if you don't treat the trauma or you don't get help for trauma, you run the risk of developing cognitive disorders. So let's take a look at Trump. Well, let's take a look at Mother Mary and Trump. Or should I say her children? Let's do that. Mother Mary and her children in general. The household. This is bad decisions that were made, and not being able to move forward because of said bad decisions or actions. And this is the consequences of the past. When they were children, she didn't want to cause conflict within the family because she was afraid. She was afraid to step up, or she was afraid to just lose it all. And she was worried about money. She was definitely worried about being poor. She had been poor all her life, all her younger years, and she just didn't want to go back to that. But she's sorry. She is very, very sorry that she made this an important matter to the family when what should have been important was compassion and love. She recognizes that whereas the father is supposed to be the stern person or the person who teaches children how to make a life for themselves, she's supposed to be the caring person, and she didn't do that. She focused on money and focused on keeping the secrets. And she doesn't see how they can overcome this. Not right now anyways. Yeah, she sees everything in a different light. She is terribly, terribly afflicted, and I'm almost seeing that she's saying that he's not going to change until his life review. So that's in passing. He will never ever see where he's, we have the Chariot. In passing, will he be able to see what went wrong, what he did wrong? He'll never be wrong. He will never be wrong. He will lose his mind before he will ever see that he's wrong on something. Never. And even if he does see that something's wrong, or he's lied about something, or he knows he's lied, he will never admit it. He will never admit it. Yeah, and this is the release. This is in death. This is when he goes. He will see the choices that he has made. Now he's blind. Now he is blind and unable to see the truth. And only when he is forced to see the truth, only when he is not as strong as he thinks he is, and in face of spirit, he cannot stand his ground, and he will see. She's waiting. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate every single one of you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, leave comments, questions, and suggestions for future readings in the comment section below. Thank you guys. Bye.